Hello everybody, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today I'm going to be doing an oil painting using two colors from Williamsburg, Italian Pompeii Red and Sap Green. I'm going to mix these together to utilize their ability to create brown with red aspects and green aspects. This is similar to a mixture used by Tonalist artists Stuart Davies as well as Dennis Sheehan. I'm using Galkid as my medium, and my surface is gesso board. This is, I believe, the ampersand, the museum quality gesso board. Unfortunately, this is as close as I can get with my tripod and camera, and I'm painting on a flat surface, and I'm just going to get started. So this is kind of the whole modern tonalist approach you might see on different YouTube pages, different Facebook pages, etc. I'm mixing these two together for my brown. You could use other mediums besides the Galkid. Some artists will use the linseed oil. Some will use solvent-free oil. There's a lot of different things you can utilize. And I'm just going to go back and forth and create an imaginary scene and just have fun with it. Another artist who utilizes this approach of just kind of putting in and then will be wiping out and lifting paint and smearing things around is David Usher. He's got some videos on YouTube. So that's three other artists for you to check out if you're interested in this approach. It's all about texture and tonal values. So I'm just scrubbing in the sky and then wiping back. The thing that's nice with the gesso board is that sometimes you can wipe back to almost white. Some of the prominent artists are very good at getting back to that white of the canvas. And I'll be honest, this approach is super addicting. I want to make it a short video, but there's always a point that I hit where I'll just keep fiddling with it. And I don't really do that with watercolor while I'll keep fiddling, but with the oil, I'll keep doing that mainly because I'm just enjoying the process so much. And there's videos of Dennis Sheehan, who I mentioned. He'll be putting in and have a scene, and then he'll completely wipe off the whole canvas, and then a few moments later he'll have a completely different scene. So if you could find those on YouTube, or I can't think of the name of the other video service that I've seen him on, but if you type him in Google, it'll pop up. Both Stuart Davies and Dennis Sheehan, I believe, have some free videos, but then they also have classes that they'll teach. And I think they have online classes, so I haven't checked them out personally, but that might be something you'd want to look into. If you want to support this channel, I have a Patreon link down below, and I have 2 cheap tiers that I would love for you to consider. And if not, I completely understand. Simply liking and subscribing is very beneficial to my channel. So I'm just letting the scene just take place I'm applying paint with the brush. I can go in, I can scrape out different shapes, and then I'm wiping back or texturizing with the paper towel. I like using the shop rags. You can find, these are the blue rags that you can find in the automotive section of Walmart or other stores. This brush, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's one of those Master Touch brushes from Hobby Lobby. Usually they are half off every other week. And I haven't bought a brush in a while, so I'm not sure if they're still doing that. Let's grab another paper towel. So I can roll this paper towel up into a point, and I could pull out trunk shapes. And I could also go open up the door for Hammy if he keeps crying. He's probably going to want to come in. But I can't have him get oil paint all over him. How do you get oil paint off of a cat? Here's a Q-tip. Using that to lift out some trunk effects. And let me know in the comments below how this is visually, because I'm getting a little glare from my lights and the different things that I set up. So if you're having trouble seeing things, let me know. I have a hard time going back and watching my videos, mainly because it's always weird hearing your own voice. I think everybody deals with that. But this approach is very simple. You can use it as an underpainting for an oil painting if you want, where you kind of put in the tonal values, and then when it dries you can glaze over it. I'm kind of putting in more heavier paint in this one to add darks and texture, the grass and foliage around it. But yeah, so you can use this approach in that fashion. You can start adding other colors if you want to do something alla prima. In fact, a part of me, alla prima is kind of all at once, or I believe it means while wet. There's an alla prima Facebook page, but there's a lot of bickering about whether or not it's what's truly alla prima or not. Let me open the door for Hammy. Okay, Hammy is now in the room. I also grabbed the tube of ivory black just in case I want to utilize that to darken up some areas. Anyway, I think I started talking about Facebook pages. So if you're interested in tonalism, there is a Facebook page, a Tonalism Fellowship. I highly recommend that page. There's also Hudson River Valley Artists, Luminist, and Tonalism. I recommend that one as well. Those two pages have very positive feedback. I unfortunately don't want to really talk negative about some pages but there's some that I'm neglecting to mention because their definition of tonalism is very, unfortunately, a little narrow-minded. Some people are of the belief that it's just daytime scenes, morning sunrises or sunsets. That's solely what some people believe tonalism is. And unfortunately, that is not the case. I'm adding some ivory black. I could use a Payne's gray. In fact, next time I might. I'm going to grab this just to kind of darken up my mix and add some dark values and spots. While I finish this off, I guess I can talk about tonalism and what it is. Essentially, it's in a movement that took place in the United States, and they put it from the time of 1880s to 1920s. Two famous artists from the movement, George Enes and Whistler. It came out of the American movement, the Hudson River Valley artists, and which Hudson River Valley was very exact to the scene. You didn't see brush strokes, etc. So this was kind of the, I guess the term would be antithesis of that, where instead of vast broad scenes, this is smaller introspective scenes. But there are some vast broad scenes in it. Brush strokes are seen, heavily influenced by what's called, I believe it's the Barbizon movement out of France, where they had brush strokes and marks there. It's very easy to kind of debate what is tonalism and what isn't tonalism, unfortunately, to like kind of get caught up in that. And I don't know. Not in the mood for it today. I apologize. I guess don't let yourself get caught trying to paint a certain way or painting for other people. You know, like, is this tonalism? Do I get a cookie now? No. Just paint for yourself. Have fun. Be inspired by the other artists. Research the art movements. And paint. And wear your mask and don't get coronavirus, because it is quite miserable. Knock on wood, I think yesterday was the worst day of the virus for me, where it really had an impact on my chest and breathing. Today it's not as bad. So, like I said, it's very easy to just go back and forth and just start picking around and playing around with it and putting details in, and you can go as far as you want or as short as you want. Main thing is just make sure you're having fun, and like I said, don't get caught up in the argument of what is and isn't tonalism. And just think of it as texture, lights and darks. Essentially get lost in your own little world. That sounded Bob Rossi. I'm I'm going to own it. Get lost in your own little world. I'm going to wrap this painting up in a moment. We'll take a look at everything, see if I want to mess around anymore. Also, in the idea of the mediums to mix into the paint, I would recommend, you could ask online. I think wet canvas was really helpful for me when I was looking into mediums. But for a lot of different things, I've just started calling the company up directly. And you'll find that usually the customer service is fantastic for a lot of different companies. And you just feel more connected with the product when you get that kind of service. So that's the best thing that I can do if I was to advise any type of products. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do a second video where, if I can find it, I'm going to use water-soluble oils, and we'll see if there's any difference between that and this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day.